Please welcome back to the stage your conference host and MC, Elwin Lopez.
Welcome back, LifeWave! All right, guys. I promised something to you all before we broke for lunch, and it was a Star Trek-like surprise, and I tend to keep my promises, okay? So this next guest, she had a Star Trek starship named after her, and it was the fastest ever. But that is just one of her many accomplishments. Please take a look.
I had a dream to one day become an Air Force Thunderbird pilot.
She's the first female on any U.S. military fighter jet team in history.
And when I think about headwinds, I think about them coming from three different places. The times that you have to overcome self-doubt, the times that you have to adapt to organizational or cultural change, and the times that you have to deal with the completely unexpected in your life. I'm a survivor of late-stage neurological tick-borne illness. When you find yourself in a position like this, don't waste energy on things you can't control. Being the best is about pushing the envelope, and this metaphor here is about pushing your envelope as an individual. There is not a single one of us on this stage that is either impressed or intimidated by naysayers or indiscriminate critics.
Failure is the price of entry for achieving something great. Going after big dreams and gnarly dreams, there's going to be bumps and turns in the road. The beauty, I think, of failure, too, is that you come away with it a lot more focused, a lot more determined and committed, and I think also a lot more humble.
It is my honor and pleasure to welcome to the stage the first female Thunderbird pilot, Nicole Malachowski.
Thank you. Hi. Thank you so much. Oh my gosh. Thank you so much. I appreciate that welcome. Good afternoon, LifeWave. Woo! You all are a high-energy crowd. I actually flew in yesterday, and the second the doors to the hotel opened, you could just feel the positivity, you could feel the energy, you could feel the friendship of this network here, and I'm just absolutely delighted to be joining you. And so when I checked in last night, they gave me a key to my room, which was on the 7th floor. And of course, the first thing I like to do when I get to a hotel room is immediately drop my bags and go to the window to see the view. Do you ever do that? Yeah, and there was that big supermoon out last night. So I was going to see if I could find it. So I get to my room, drop my bags, go to the window, throw the shears aside, and immediately I jump back. I'm hit with two thoughts. The first, I totally forget I am petrified of heights. It's true. I know I'm a pilot, but I'm afraid of heights. So I jump back from that 7th floor window, and the second feeling I have is, what in the world am I doing here? Have you ever walked into a room or a situation and thought, what in the world am I doing here? I'm thinking to myself, what in the world does an old washed-up fighter pilot and a harried mother of 14-year-old twins, right, possibly have that she can impart on a bunch of professionals here at LifeWave that work in health technology? And you might be asking yourself the same question, and that's okay. But as I was preparing for this event, talking to the LifeWave team, learning about all of you, there was a certain theme that kept coming up over and over again, and it went something like this. In 20 years, it's the best group of brand partners we've ever had. This is going to be the best event of the year. We are slated to have our best year yet. And it was, I think in those words, the best, that kept coming up over and over again when talking about all of you. Now, sometimes people look at my background as a fighter pilot, as an American Air Force Thunderbird pilot, and they'll look at me with a straight face and literally ask, Nicole, what's it like to be the best? And when I get asked that, I laugh and I laugh. Because I can assure you, I, Nicole Malachowski, have never individually been the best at anything that I've ever done. But I have been a part of some of the best teams. And I learned over time that these best teams have a certain set of characteristics, a certain mindset. And it's what I like to call the pushing the envelope mindset, which is what I'm going to talk to all of you about today. But before we do that, I want to introduce you to someone very important to me. All right? Feast your eyes on that. Oh, that's my jet. I know. Thank you, taxpayers of America. That's the mighty F-15E Strike Eagle. That's the jet I flew in 3 fighter squadrons. I commanded a squadron of F-15Es. That is the jet that took me and my friends safely in and out of the sky more times than I could count. She is a beast, and yes, it's a she, all right? You know, and you've all heard this term, pushing the envelope, before. It comes from aviation. It's all about taking the aircraft to its maximum performance. Let me tell you a little bit more about her. She's capable of flying upwards of 50,000 feet, pulling 9 times the force of gravity, and flying twice the speed of sound. It's extraordinary, right? And one of the greatest joys of my career was teaching brand new pilots, brand new lieutenants, how to fly and employ that aircraft. And every time I take a new pilot up on their first flight, they do the exact same thing. They would fly that beautiful piece of technology at 20,000 feet, 250 miles an hour, and pull 2 Gs. Like, what a waste, right? What a waste of extraordinary capability. And so as I talk to you today, I want you to think of yourself as that aircraft. The individual teams you're leading back home as that aircraft. LIFEWAVE, writ large, as that aircraft. The pushing the envelope mindset says, am I bringing all of myself to work every day? And importantly, am I creating an environment where everybody around me on this team can bring the best of themselves as well? And I found over time that this pushing the envelope mindset requires 3 distinct traits, and those traits are courage, trust, and vulnerability. None of those surprise you. But what I hope to do today is share a few stories from across my flying career to give you a slightly different lens or a slightly different paradigm to look at how you can push the envelope across 2024 and beyond. But before we do that, I thought we would watch a flying video because flying videos are cool. That's right. And there is an expectation that the fighter pilot will show up with a flying video. So I'm going to check that square, but there's actually a point to this video. If you look on the screen there, that's actually me you see in the cockpit. That's a different jet called the F-16 Fighting Falcon, painted in the red, white, and blue colors of the United States Air Force Thunderbirds. Yeah! How many of you have actually seen the Air Force Thunderbirds fly? Woohoo! All right. And I know we're joined by a very wonderful international audience today, so I know there's so many countries out there with their own individual demonstration teams, and I want to acknowledge that. Now, how many of you have been to an air show of any kind? Yes, okay, that's awesome. So when you go to an air show or the air show comes to town, it's exciting, right? It's on television, it's in the newspaper, it's a patriotic event, it's a family event. People are excited, right? There's funnel cake and warm beer, like people are happy. And I get asked a lot, Nicole, what was the best part about being a Thunderbird pilot? And they think I'm gonna say the flying or the travel or all the famous people and celebrities I met, but none of those are the answer. When people ask me, Nicole, what's the best part about being the Thunderbird? The answer is this. The best part would happen after we landed. So we would do loops to music for 30 minutes, we would land, and we would walk over to the autograph line or the audience, where we would sign autographs, answer questions, chat, take selfies, all of that. And it was really odd to me because in the 2 years I flew air shows, there was a certain theme that always came up from the audience, always from adults, never from kids. People would look at me with a straight face and be like, wow, you're a fighter pilot, that's cool. You're an Air Force Thunderbird pilot, that's elite. Then they'd look at me like I'd grown a third eye. You're a woman Thunderbird pilot, like I don't even know what to say about that. And then with a straight face, people would literally say things like, Nicole, you must be different than the rest of us. Nicole, you must somehow be naturally gifted. My personal favorite, Nicole, the path in front of you must have just been smooth. Woo! And I would smile and demur because I think they were trying to pay me a compliment. But inside, I'm thinking, you have got to be kidding me, right? The path for me to get to the cockpit of that red, white, and blue F-16 was littered with twists, turns, bumps, bruises, mistakes, and failures all along the way. So the lesson that I learned a long time ago that I want to share with you today is this. The path to success for any individual or for any team will always be nonlinear. The path to success will always be nonlinear. So this video was taken my first year on the team, way back in 2006. It's 1.5 minutes long, and 50% of the in-cockpit video comes from inside my jet. So it's your chance to fly as American Air Force Thunderbird number 3. I hope you enjoy it. Thank you. Thank you. I do miss the flying. It was a lot of fun, but what is more fun is standing on stage and watching all your faces when those 4 jets cross over, right? And I'll answer the question that's on your mind. We pass with 1,000 miles per hour of closure at about 32 feet apart, which is less than the width of the screen you see here to my right. Courage, trust, and vulnerability in action. A very visual depiction, I think, of what I mean by pushing the envelope. So let's talk a little bit about this trait of courage, what it takes to push the envelope in your personal life and in your professional life. Let me ask, have you ever had a dream or a goal that was so big, so complex, so gnarly, the idea of actually going after it makes you get a knot in your stomach and the voice in your head that says that dream is too big for you? Maybe you have an idea that would completely innovate how LifeWave does business, but you're thinking, I don't want to share that idea because I don't want to go against the status quo. I don't want to be the guy that rocks the boat. I think we've all had moments like that. I had a dream growing up as a little kid to one day grow up and become an Air Force Thunderbird pilot. It's hard enough to become a fighter pilot. It's even harder to become an Air Force Thunderbird pilot. For context, in the American active duty Air Force today, there's 12,000 pilots. Of those, 2,000 are fighter pilots, and of those 6, only 6 have a chance of ever becoming an Air Force Thunderbird. It's statistically improbable. Anybody, oh, you're so sweet. Thank you. But it's statistically improbable, right, that anybody becomes a Thunderbird, but obviously it's not impossible. But this idea of me actively pursuing this dream, no way. Every time I thought about it, the voice in my head would say this: other people become Thunderbird pilots, Nicole, not you. And so I kept that dream inside. I went about becoming a fighter pilot, flying that beautiful F-15E Strike Eagle you saw earlier, doing my job out around the world. And every year, the American Air Force sends an email to all its fighter pilots that says the same thing. Comes at the same time every year. It says, we're looking for 3 new Thunderbird pilots. It's a 2-year assignment, so 3 pilots are new, 3 pilots experienced on their 2nd year. It says, we're looking for 3 new Thunderbird pilots. Here's the qualifications, here's the application. And even though I was qualified, and even though it had been my dream since I was a child, every year I would do the same thing. Ding, into the inbox. I would read the email, and then I would delete. Delete, delete, delete. Other people become Thunderbird pilots, Nicole, not you. Until about 2005, I've been a fighter pilot about 8 years. I found myself with every single certification and qualification you could have as a frontline fighter pilot, and ding into the inbox came that dang email. And for whatever reason, as I read it that year, a light went on in my mind and in my heart. And as I read that email, I thought to myself, why not me? Why not me? And I went to bed and I tossed and I turned and I thought about this dream. Thank you. And I woke up that next day, and with all the energy and courage I could muster, the voice in my head saying, don't do it, I walked into the work and I spoke my dream out loud. I told my peers, my colleagues, my supervisors, my chain of command, I'm applying to be a Thunderbird. And generally speaking, initially, people were very supportive. I was tickled. I appreciated the support, but as the days went by and they had time to think about it, if I earned $1 for every time I heard this, you know, Nicole, it's hard to become a Thunderbird. You know, Nicole, you probably won't get picked. You know, Nicole, they've never had a woman Thunderbird pilot before. Are you sure you want to do that? Over and over and over, I heard the same things, but I said, no, Nicole, stay focused. Put this application together. A big, detailed application, as you might imagine for a job like that. A picture of me in uniform, a letter of why I wanted to be a Thunderbird, all of my career-long HR or performance reports, all of my annual career-long flying test, or what we call check ride scores. But the thing that was weighted the most, the thing that counted the most in this application was a letter of recommendation from the first full-bird colonel in my chain of command. Now, I am a 30-year-old young captain here. At that time, a full-bird colonel? That was high-ranking. That was intimidating. A colonel was a big deal. I'm now a retired full-bird colonel, and I can assure you we're not a big deal. We're a dime a dozen. But I thought, I'll draft the letter for him. All I have to do is draft this letter, I'll take it in, and I'll get his signature. So I put this application together, and I remember this day like it was yesterday. The whole application together, the letter I had drafted for him, with all the courage I could muster, I walked into work, into his office, slid the application across the desk to his staff, and said, I'm applying to be a Thunderbird. And I'll never forget it. The gentleman on the staff looked right at me and said, you know, Nicole, it's hard to be a Thunderbird. You know, Nicole, you probably won't get picked. You know, Nicole, we've never had a woman Thunderbird pilot before. And the colonel only has one recommendation he's allowed to give. So we're not sure we want to waste it. Boom, right? Imagine how you would feel standing there, right? I felt sucker punched, the wind taken out of my sails. And in that moment, here's what happened. I reached across the desk, I grabbed my application, and I removed it. I almost never became a Thunderbird pilot at all. I removed my application, I looked at him, and I said, you're right. I am so sorry for having bothered you. And I walked out feeling embarrassed and ashamed. Other people become Thunderbird pilots, Nicole, not you. And I did what any self-respecting fighter pilot would do at that time. I went across the street to the officers' club and I grabbed a beer. So I'm over there drinking my beer, talking to the guys about the day's flying, thinking, thank goodness I didn't put myself out there. Thank goodness I didn't risk failure. Who were you, Nicole, to think you could be a Thunderbird pilot? And as I'm sitting there talking to the guys, a door over here opens up about the distance from that wall, and in walks the wing commander. Now, the wing commander is a brigadier general, a general. Super intimidating to a young captain. He's 6'5". He walks over, he's standing way up here, he looks down at me. He makes small talk with me to this day. I have no idea why he came over to talk to me, and I don't really recall what we were talking about. I just know I was intimidated. So he's talking to me, I'm talking to him, and in that moment, over walks my immediate supervisor, a guy by the name of Dan Debris, call sign Trash. Trash Debris. That's where call signs come from, okay? So Trash comes over all excited. He says, General, did you know Nicole's applying to be a Thunderbird? I'm thinking, oh, no. Neither of them knew I had decided to remove my application. In that moment, the general looks way down at me, and he goes, that's great, Nicole. How's your application going? I took a swig of my beer. I looked way up at him, and I said, you know, sir, it's hard to be a Thunderbird. You know, sir, I probably won't get picked. You know, sir, they haven't had a woman before, so I don't want to waste anyone's time. Everything everyone else had said had taken up room in my own head and was now coming out of my own mouth, that voice of self-doubt. And in that moment, General Mark Matthews gave me one of the single greatest pieces of advice, and I want you to remember this the next time you're nervous about dreaming big, the next time you've got that innovative idea, but you're a little hesitant. I want you to remember this. He looked down at me, put his hand on my shoulder, looked me in the eye, and said, Nicole, nobody wants to lead a scripted life. Nobody wants to lead a scripted life. And with those words, he took the weight of the world off my shoulders. He was telling me it's okay to dream big. It's okay to go against the status quo. It's okay to take some risk when you're pursuing personal and professional growth. And it's not so much he's telling you and me to write ourselves into the script. Hear what he was saying. Don't you ever write yourself out of the script. And as friends and teammates and leaders in here, don't ever write anybody else or their wild ideas out of the script either. Nobody wants to lead a scripted life. And it's a reminder, too, of talent management. Where are you looking for talent and ideas as you grow your teams and as you network? Because I guarantee you, nobody saw me coming or anybody like me, right? Thank you. Nobody wants to lead a scripted life. And I get asked a lot, Nicole, did you ever get the letter of recommendation from the colonel? No, I did not. But I did get the letter of recommendation from a general, so. Let's talk a little bit about this trait of trust, the type of trust you need to push the envelope as an individual and to take your teams to that next level of performance, right? So I go through this application process. I get picked as one of 6 elite Thunderbird pilots. I'm at the height of my qualifications and certifications. I am super excited to show up to that base on the very first day. I want to go fly, right? And I remember walking onto the base, this giant, beautiful red, white, and blue hangar. I walk in super excited, 30 years old, fighter pilot, Thunderbird. I walked in and I said, hi, I'm Nicole Malachowski. I'm ready to go fly. And I was met with nothing but silent stares by all the people in the hangar. I thought, well, maybe they didn't hear me. I said, hi, I'm Nicole Malachowski. You know, people are going to go to air shows to watch me fly. I'm ready to go fly. And I'll never forget, the senior enlisted gentleman looked right at me with a straight face and said, quote, you don't get to touch our jet until I say you can, end quote. Woo, rough first day on the job, right? I walked back, I kind of looked at him. He says, you don't get to touch our jet until you get to know each and every one of us, our names, our spouses' names, our kids' names, our hometowns, our hobbies. Further, you, Miss Pilot, need to go do a little mini internship with every single other career function on this team so you have a better understanding of where you fit into this highly interdependent puzzle. So you have a better understanding how if you don't do your job to the highest level of excellence, it impacts us, and how if we don't do our job to the highest standards, it impacts you. You see, the Thunderbirds were 125 people from 25 different career functions who came together to make that elite mission happen, and all it took was one of us, just one, not doing our job to that highest expected standard of excellence, and that entire elite mission would fall apart. The Thunderbirds taught me a very valuable lesson very early on, and it is this: nothing of significance is ever accomplished alone. Nothing of significance is ever accomplished alone. And I will tell you something I just learned about LifeWave over the last few weeks and the last few months. I've been hanging out doing reconnaissance in the atrium and at the bar. I talked to some of you. Yeah, I did. You know, what you do is significant. You empower people to live in the light. You help people maximize their human potential, right? We live well and young. I mean, like, you guys are phenomenal. What you do is you help people physically, mentally, and I even say spiritually. What you do is significant. And it takes all of you moving in the same direction to get this mission done. Nothing of significance is ever accomplished alone. And for 3 weeks, I didn't fly. Ugh, torture for a pilot. I turned wrenches with the crew chiefs under the jet. I learned about the budget, public affairs. I learned about logistics. And after 3 weeks of no flying and learning about everyone else, then and only then did they let me touch that jet. And I remember that first day I went flying. I walked out into that bright sun, that hot Las Vegas, Nevada day, because that's where the Air Force Base is. Yeah, Vegas. Walked out into that hot Las Vegas sun, out to that red, white, and blue F-16, super excited, and I start to do the walk around. The walk around is the first thing a pilot does before they go fly. They're checking to make sure the aircraft is safe and airworthy. You've seen your airline pilots do it. You look out the window and she is walking around making sure the wings didn't fall off overnight, there isn't a fuel or an oil leak. I've been flying since I was 12. I've been a fighter pilot for 8 years. Instinctually, it's the first thing I do. I start to do that walk around, and as I approach the jet, I'm met by these two crew chiefs, Nate on the left. He jumps between me and the jet, puts his hand up and goes, "Ma'am, what are you doing?" I said, "I'm doing my walk around like I always do." He says, "Oh, no, ma'am, you don't do that here. We do it. I'm trained to do it. I've already done the walk around. The aircraft is safe and airworthy. Get in." I'm looking at him thinking, who are you? How am I supposed to trust you with my life? And then Dave on the right, he kind of ups the ante. He says, "Not only do we pre-flight your aircraft for you, ma'am, we pre-flight all of your life support equipment as well, as in my life." He says, "We pre-flight your G-suit, your harness, your helmet, your ejection seat, ma'am. I've already done that. The aircraft is safe and airworthy. Get in." Now, if I'm being honest, I'm looking at these two great professionals, these two great Americans, and I feel nothing but a knot in my stomach and a feeling of resentment towards my own teammates. Who are you? I just met you. How am I supposed to trust you with my life? Why do things have to be different? I've always done it this way. You ever felt like that when change comes along? Yeah, and day after day I came out to fly during training season, and I'd always feel that way. And then about 2 months into this 3-month-long training program, I walked out into that hot Las Vegas sun, and Nate was down on his hands and knees, sweating through his uniform, dripping sweat down his brow, polishing the wheel well of this F-16 to the finest detail. And it hit me as I looked at him. He takes as much pride in doing his job as I do. He takes as much pride in doing his job as I do. The next time you're working in that team environment, maybe you've got a little bit of tension, and you're kind of having one of those moments. I want you to remember this story. Pause, take a deep breath, step back, afford that teammate a moment of grace, and look at them and think to yourself, they take as much pride in doing their job as I do. And Dave on the right, he had a really, really important job. He was 6'6" tall, 250 pounds. I would climb into the cockpit. He would climb up the ladder, look down at me, and his job was to strap me into my ejection seat. Think about that. Dave Batterson, the only thing standing between life or death should something catastrophic happen to me in the aircraft. Dave would climb up that ladder. He would strap me into the ejection seat. He would check those connections. I would double check. He was checking those connections, right? And he started doing this cool thing. Before he went down the ladder, he would reach out his hand to me, and we would clasp hands. And he would yell at me very enthusiastically, "Rock and roll, 3. Rock and roll, that meant have a good flight. 3, that was me, my name, my position on the team. And day after day, we did this. About 2 months into this training program, I had another trust aha moment. He climbed up the ladder, he strapped me in, "Rock and roll, 3. And for the first time ever in my 8 years as a professional fighter pilot, I looked up at my crew chief and spontaneously said, "Thanks for letting me borrow your jet. Thanks for letting me borrow your jet." Now, how is it I had gone my entire career as a professional fighter pilot and I had never stopped to acknowledge and show gratitude to the very people who enabled and empowered and resourced me to do what I do every day? When was the last time you stopped as brand partners at LIFEWAVE with your teams, as people back home with your families and communities, to acknowledge and show gratitude to all those who enable and empower and resource you to do what you do? A lot of times we think this, there you go. And a lot of times we think this appreciation has to come in the form of these giant superior performer awards or the annual awards gala, and I know there's some award winners in here, and that's important. We need to do that. But what I'm talking about here are those small moments, those day-to-day appreciation that says, "I see you, I appreciate you." Maybe it's those words, a quick email, a phone call, my personal favorite, a handwritten note. Because it's in these moments of simple
and daily appreciation, that trust on a team is built. And with trust, you will get loyalty. And with loyalty, I promise you will always get increased measures of performance. And I want to pause right now to show you how it's done. Appreciation is simple. I'm on a stage in front of 1,000 new friends right now. Thanks to the amazing AV production team that you don't see behind the scenes and sitting over there. I want to say thank you to them. Thank you. Let's give them a hand. And you know who else is working really hard right now? The 11 foreign language and our ASL's translators up here. So let's give it up for the 12 translators today. I see these translators. I appreciate these translators. My friends, it is that easy. Take the time to acknowledge and show appreciation. Now, one of the things, if you can go back a slide to the six jets there, one of the things that I loved the most, of course, was, let's see, there we go, the formation here. This is called the Delta formation. It's the only time in the show that all 6 jets get together. It's my favorite formation. Think about it, 6 jets flying at 500 feet, 500 miles an hour, upside down, 3 feet away from each other. It is extraordinary. And I had never flown with these 5 other pilots before. They were just regular fighter pilots who got picked through the same hard process. We got picked, crammed together, and told to go do this. Right? It's pretty extraordinary. Earlier today, I was talking to one of your brand partners here. Her name's Jerry. I can see her over there. Jerry from North Carolina. Hey, Jerry. Jerry and I were talking. It's kind of like, hi, Jerry, nice to meet you. Let's go fly at 500 feet, 500 miles an hour, upside down, 3 feet away from each other. Are you in? Right? That's asking a lot. And the number one question I would get asked was about this formation. And the number one question people would ask me was this: Nicole, what does it take to build that level of trust? What a fantastic question. Nicole, what does it take to build that level of trust? And people think I'm going to say, well, we have a training syllabus. It's 3 months long, just like you have training programs when you bring people into LifeWave. They think I'm going to say, well, there's certain process and procedure, minimum altitudes, maximum airspeeds, just like I'm sure you have process and procedure at LifeWave. They think I'm going to say something like, I don't know, like there's certain certifications and qualifications you need as a fighter pilot to do this, just like there's certifications and qualifications and different levels of experience at LifeWave. And all of those things are true, but none of them get to the heart of the answer. When people ask me, Nicole, what does it take to build that level of trust? The answer is this: you build trust by being trustworthy. You build trust by being trustworthy. A lot of times on teams, and I know I have done this, so I'll be vulnerable. A lot of times on teams, right, we look at people and we go, I'm not sure I can trust that guy. That gal, she needs to prove to me that I can trust her. I could do it faster if I just did it myself. You ever felt that way? Yeah. I'm here to say elite performing people like you, the elite teams that you're leading, LifeWave, think of trust differently than that. Trust doesn't come to you from other people on a team. Trust emanates outward from your actions, your decisions, and your behaviors. You build trust by being trustworthy. Each and every one of you in here called to a very specific role. I was Thunderbird number 3, right wing. You got the leader there at the top, David Schmidt, right? Setting the vision, setting the direction, setting the speed, each and every one of you, his wingman, fulfilling a role. I was immediately down into his right, number 3. I had to be the best number 3 I could be, each and every one of you, fulfilling a role because of your unique strengths, your unique skill sets, your unique experience levels. If I was sick, that spot went empty. If my jet was broke, that spot went empty. It's not as simple as just swapping the right wing to the left wing position. Those are 2 completely different skill sets and maneuvers. I had to be the best number 3 I could be, and I had to let my teammates do the same. All of you given a certain level of accountability and responsibility. I was given a 3-foot bubble of accountability and responsibility, right? I could go up and down 3 feet, left and right 3 feet, forward and aft 3 feet, and as long as I did that and everyone else on my team did that, that's how that formation came together, in alignment. Everyone going in the same direction behind the leader, plus or minus 1 degree of heading, plus or minus 1 to 2 knots of airspeed. You build trust by being trustworthy. You need to be so good, so dependable, so reliable
that if anybody on your individual team across LifeWave writ large, and most importantly, one of your customers or clients has a question about what it is you do, you want them to instinctually pick up that phone and call you. You build trust by being trustworthy. Now, there's something else I think about when I look at this formation. It's the last thing an American Air Force fighter pilot says to their wingman before we go fly. And I don't care if it's in training, in combat, or an air show. The last thing I say to my wingman as a leader as we step out to the jets is this: when in doubt, always honor the wingman contract. When in doubt, always honor the wingman contract. What do I mean by that? Those two words, wingman contract, that phrase means everything to an American Air Force fighter pilot. It is our unspoken bond and promise to each other. It is the gentleman's handshake and the gentlewoman's agreement that says this is who we are. And under this wingman contract, I promise that I have expectations of your professional behavior. We have expectations of each other's standards of performance. And under this contract, I promise you, I will hold myself accountable to that contract. And out of caring and compassion for you as a teammate and a shared commitment to what you're trying to do as a team, I promise to hold you accountable to the contract too. The wingman contract, my friends, is the culture. And a lot of times when we bring up that culture, sometimes it feels a little nebulous. I'm here to say the culture is everything. It's that foundational agreement you have in LifeWave, whether you're serving in Texas or and out there in Ireland or anywhere in between along this big globe, this big international group you have. You are committed to each other, and you come together at events like this to recommit to that wingman contract. You know, a lot of times on teams, that wingman contract comes in the form of maybe a mission statement, a vision statement, a list of values and principles. We know LifeWave has those. Do you have them on your individual teams? What does it look like? What is that promise? What is the expectation of each other's performance? Have you translated it? Have you committed to it as a team? Is there a way to hold each other accountable? A wingman contract is vital for a team because it applies to everyone equally, from the newest, youngest intern, hire the brand new person, all the way up through all of you, all the way to the CEO, David Schmidt, and everybody in between equally. Why does it matter? Because a wingman contract will enable and empower people at all levels of an organization to make independent, agile decisions at the exact time and place that it's needed that will always be in alignment with where this LifeWave team is going. Ask yourself, is what I'm about to do in alignment with the LifeWave wingman contract? And if it is, move out. And move out with confidence, knowing you're going in the right direction, because we don't have time to call a meeting every time a decision needs to be made. We don't have time to hold another Zoom call or answer another email, right? A wingman contract is about efficiency. It's about empowering your teammates to be agile at the time and place that your customer and clients need it, right? And what is that LifeWave wingman contract? It's in your 4 values, right? It's in your brand pillars. High quality products and innovation, leading with service and social responsibility. And if I have those memorized, you should too. Right? Ask yourself, is what I'm about to say or do in alignment with the LifeWave wingman contract, what you are committing to here at these events, and indeed move out with confidence after that? Now, one of the hardest things I had to learn how to do as a Thunderbird pilot was learn to fly like a Thunderbird pilot, because we don't fly like this in the regular Air Force. And we have a 3-month-long training program, and it's crawl to walk to run. Starts out easy, gets harder. So when we started training, we would fly this formation on the left. It was called diamond formation. I loved diamond formation. I was good at diamond formation. I was comfortable in diamond formation. And we would try to learn new maneuvers from diamond formation. We'd try it 10 or 20 times. Light bulb would go on. We would move on with the syllabus, which got harder and harder until I met my nemesis, the formation on the right. I don't even like looking at the picture to this day. I never liked that formation. It's called trail formation. There's 4 aircraft stacked vertically on top of each other. Do you see all 4 aircraft? I am 3rd down from the top. I've got 2 aircraft above me, the closest 3 feet from the top of my canopy, a 4th aircraft underneath me, 3 feet away, who I cannot see. who's 100% dependent on me for his safety. Now, one of the reasons I did not like trail formation is as we are stacked vertically on top of each other, all it takes is one pilot, just one, letting off by 0.1 the force of gravity, and that entire formation can collapse on itself. It is my opinion that that is the formation where both the Thunderbirds and the Blue Angels accept the highest level of risk. And we were trying to learn a maneuver from trail called the trail to diamond roll. It's just like it sounds. We're all going to be in trail. We're going to roll to the left. We're going to end up in diamond formation. What you need to know is it's the single hardest maneuver for the number 3 position to fly. Out of sheer aerodynamics, I have to roll more, pull more than anybody else in order to make it happen. In fact, it's so complex, so difficult, so high risk that as of 2 years ago, the Air Force Thunderbirds no longer fly this maneuver. Now, here I am at the height of my career, the height of my qualifications, the height of my skill set, supposedly an elite Thunderbird pilot, and no matter how many times we practiced this maneuver, I couldn't figure it out. It was so frustrating, so hard on my ego. How was this happening to me? Why was this happening to me? What is wrong with me? To top it off, everybody else on the team had it figured out. I was the anchor. I was the failure. I was the one holding the team back from moving on with the training syllabus. We tried this maneuver 30 times, 50 times, 100 times. I couldn't figure it out. I'm going to show you a video of me failing at it during training. Take a look on the screen. There's 4 jets. I'm 3 down from the top, right? I am 3 down from the top. We are not at 3-foot spacing. We are supposed to be at 3-foot spacing, but in this video, we're at about 8 to 10 feet spacing. Why is that? Because I can't figure it out, right? So what's going to happen when I hit play is you're going to see all the jets start to roll to the left. Halfway through the roll, I'm going to fly away from everybody else and do my own air show, all right? I'm going to get 24 to 30 feet away, or 8 to 10 times outside of the standard. So here is me failing and flailing. I hope you enjoy it. I know what you're thinking. You're probably thinking, Nicole, that looked pretty good to me, right? I know, right? But here's the thing. It wasn't good. It was 3, 10, 15, 20 feet well outside of the standard. It was a D+, C- effort. I knew it, and everybody else on the team knew it. And I remember we went into debrief that day, and as a team, the 5 other pilots looked at me and had a collective exhale. Nicole, we can't waste any more time trying to learn this maneuver. We've already done it way more than we needed to. We have a syllabus we have to get through. We have a month left to learn everything else. We have a graduation date. There's air shows in Dallas that we need to get to. They're on the calendar. We can't waste any more time trying to learn this, Nicole. So instead of flying it at 3 feet, we'll just fly it at 8 feet. Ugh, right? Like a dagger through the heart. Remember, the standard you are willing to walk past is the standard you are willing to accept. And I knew in that moment I was not going to be able to mentally and psychologically get past this failure and weakness of mine. And I remember this day like it was yesterday. I remember taking a deep breath and saying the 3 hardest words in the English language for some reason. I took a deep breath, looked at these 5 other pilots, these great men, and I said, I need help. I need help. What is it about those 3 words that stop us in our tracks? What is it about those 3 words that make us feel so weak and so vulnerable when in fact it's a sign of strength? And in that moment when I said I need help, it was like a big giant red flag to my teammates. They kind of looked at me like, oh, Nicole said the H word, you know? And my teammates stopped. And for the next 2 days, we did only that maneuver over and over and over hundreds of times until I got it right. Because it was the right thing to do by me as a teammate, it was the right thing to do by our wingman contract, and importantly, it was the right thing to do by our customer and client, the audience on the ground who has an expectation of 3 feet of excellence. And I'm happy to say after hundreds of times and 2 straight days of efforts, I figured it out. Take a look on the screen. The bottom right-hand corner is the reflection of my helmet. Look above you, there are 2 aircraft. The closest is now 3 to 4 feet from the top of the canopy. I have a 4th aircraft you cannot see underneath you 3 to 4 feet away, who's 100% dependent on you for his safety. Now, one of the reasons I really didn't enjoy the Trail to Diamond roll is if you look at my hands here, as we start to roll to the left, the aircraft above you is going to slide down and to the left, and at that instant, our wingtips will cross at about 12 to 18 inches apart. I hope you enjoy it. Thank you. Thank you. And it felt good to get it right. It felt good to be vulnerable. That's part of the pushing the envelope mindset. The lesson here for you and me is very simple, my friends. You are never too experienced, too good, too certified, too qualified, too high up in the LifeWave org chart, right? To ask for help when you need it. And it is never beneath any of us in here to offer help, never from a place of judgment or shame, but always from a place of caring and compassion for this brand and a shared commitment to what you are trying to do here. Ask for and offer help. I got one last story to share with you today. It hits on this idea of vulnerability as well. One of the hardest things I had to learn how to do as a Thunderbird pilot was learn to stay in formation when we encountered turbulence. Turbulence being a metaphor for change, turbulence being a metaphor, the headwinds that we all experience in our personal and our professional lives. They are bound to come along, these challenges, right? We all experience them. And I know what you're thinking. You're thinking, Nicole, you just told me you've been flying since you were 12 years old. You'd been a professional fighter pilot for 8 years. Certainly, Nicole, you had flown in turbulence many times. Why is it now a big deal? Well, as my wingman, Jerry, knows, the first time you encounter turbulence at 500 feet, 500 miles an hour, upside down, 3 feet away from 5 other jets, that is indeed an eye-opening moment, trust me, okay? But I thought I'd flown in turbulence many times, so we're in training. We're in my favorite diamond formation. It's a blue sky day. We're walking out to the jets. And as we walk out to the jets, the young weather expert, the young weather airman, he comes running past us. He says, the atmosphere is ripe for turbulence. I thought, okay. You know, as a pilot, I find turbulence fascinating, right? We have weather models that will tell us when the atmosphere is ripe for turbulence, but we can never predict exactly where turbulence will happen, how severe that turbulence will really be, and how long that turbulence will last. Does that sound familiar? That's life, right? But I'm thinking, okay, it's ripe for turbulence. I've flown in turbulence many times, so we're out there flying along. The sky is smooth. I'm having a good time, and boom, we hit that turbulence. And the second we hit it, my whole body tensed up, and instantaneously, I started to grip the stick really hard. And the turbulence would bump and try to force me out of position. So I would put an input in to fight to stay in position. The turbulence would bump again, and I would put in another input. I was trying to fight the turbulence, to control the uncontrollable. And with each input, the input got bigger and bigger and bigger until I got into something called a PIO, or a pilot-induced oscillation. It makes for a very ugly air show. It is impossible for your teammates to fly next to, and in fact, I was making things worse. But isn't that our instincts as human beings when change and headwinds and hardships come along? Do you ever try to resist that change? Do you ever try to control the uncontrollable? I say that's a very inefficient use of your limited time, talent, and treasure. But there I was, fighting the turbulence, fighting to stay in. When we landed that day, I wiped the sweat from my brow, and I remember thinking, thank God I didn't hit anyone. Literally, I thought that. We got into the debrief that day. The pilots looked at me again, exasperated exhale. The number 4 pilot on the team, he's the number 4 pilot right here, all right? He's on his 2nd year. He's the experienced pilot. He's the wise one. He's my instructor. He's also the guy that flies underneath me. His name is Steve Horton, the man that flies underneath me, also known as the man who sees all of my mistakes. He said, Nicole, what were you doing out there? You were all over the place. I couldn't fly next to you. I said, Steve, I was fighting to stay in position. I was fighting the turbulence, Steve. I was doing my best. And I'll never forget this day like it was yesterday. He's still a very good friend of mine. He looked at me with the biggest smirk on his face and he goes, oh, we forgot to tell you the secret. And I looked at him like, what? And he goes, we forgot to tell you the secret for how to stay in formation when we encounter turbulence. Would you like to know the secret? I looked at him like, yeah, bro, information I could have used yesterday. He says, the secret is this. We promise each other as a team that when any one of us encounters turbulence in our own jet, regardless of what position we fly in, regardless of what formation we're in, regardless of what maneuver we're about to do, when any one of us encounters turbulence in our own jet, we will immediately loosen our grip. The answer, Nicole, is to loosen your grip. Mind blown. The exact opposite of my instincts 3 feet away from other planes as I'm fighting to not hit anybody and to stay in position, and the opposite of our instincts as human beings when change and turbulence comes along. So I went home and I thought about it. Steve Horton, the number 4 pilot, the experienced guy, he must know what he's talking about. The next day we go out, it's a blue sky day, favorite diamond formation. The young weather airman says the atmosphere is ripe for turbulence. I take him a lot more seriously this time. We're out there flying along and it is all nice and smooth, and finally, boom, we hit that turbulence and I start to tense up on the stick again. But I thought, no, Steve Horton, he's like the Yoda of the team, like loosen your grip, you know. And I let go with 1, 2, 3 fingers, and guess what happened? Yeah, I stayed in position. The whole formation stayed in alignment. And eventually we exited the turbulence, because turbulence doesn't last forever. And the beauty of the whole thing is, our customer and client, the audience on the ground, never even knew. When change and turbulence comes along, remind each other it is okay to loosen your grip. Now, I am not giving you permission to let go of the stick. That is not what I said, right? I'm saying choose to control the things you can control. Proactively choose to be efficient with your limited time, talent, and treasure. It is okay to loosen your grip. Y'all have stuck with me for nearly 50 minutes. The push in the envelope mindset is about harnessing that courage, trust, and vulnerability to take your performance to the next level and to create an environment where everyone on the teams that you're building and this large brand partnership right here in this room to that next level. If you're wondering what it is we talked about, my friends, this is it. The ability to choose an unscripted life, realizing that it takes a team to do the significance of empowering people to live in the light. That is just so freaking cool, right? The power of appreciation and gratitude, trustworthiness coming from your actions, decisions, and behaviors, honoring those LIFEWAVE values in your wingman contract, having the courage to ask for help and the grace to offer it, and reminding each other it's okay to loosen your grip. I'm going to leave you with last photo, my favorite photo from my whole career. I hope that if you guys have questions, if you would like to continue the conversation with me, I would love nothing more. If you want to make me look cool in front of my kids who follow my Instagram follower account, please feel free to follow me on social media. I don't want this to be a one-off transaction. I hope that you will write to me. I hope that you can interact with me on that social media so we can keep this relationship going. I leave you with this last photo. The jet on the left is my husband, Paul. The jet on the right is me. Not a lot of married people have this photo. Paul and I have been married 23 years last week, and I can assure you, thank you. I can assure you our 14-year-old twins are not impressed by this at all. No, but here's what it is, right? Look at that photo. What kind of wingman are you? What kind of wingman do you want to be? Who is your wingman? Look around this room. It's full of your wingman, my friends. I wish you all the very best as you continue to push the envelope and be the light across 2024 and beyond. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. Thank you. Thank you, Stage B. Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you.
To see some of my heroes, I'm sure some of your heroes as well, between William Shatner and Nicole Malachowski. Something that Nicole said really stood out to me, and I'm sure it stood out to you all as well, is that nothing of significance is ever accomplished alone. And that leads us to our next discussion with three of the most successful power couples at LifeWave, a discussion that will be led by LifeWave President Meredith Burkage.
Is she amazing? Is she amazing? Wow.
So are you.
When I was growing up, I always wanted to be Barbara Wawa. And so I can live vicariously through her. Well, this is an amazing time. What a great day so far. Is everybody learning lots? Good, good, good. Okay, well, I said something earlier this morning, and I said that out of all of the years that I have done surveys after big events, remember big decisions happen at big events, that the number one thing that people enjoyed is the networking, the treasures, the golden nuggets that they take away from conversations. So what an incredible opportunity I have now to lead a conversation. I hope you'll get your pens out, and I hope you'll get your thinking caps on and get ready to absorb and assimilate some of the light that is about to come to this stage. This first power couple comes from the small island of Singapore. Singapore only has about 6 million people, and yet this couple led the charge to be the catalyst for the very first success center as we're starting to look at being able to pop up markets very, very quickly. They have produced 5 SPDs in their direct line in 1 year, and again, on a very, very small population. And so please welcome to the stage James and Janet Lowe from Singapore. Our next couple made the rank of SPD, go ahead and have a seat, in only 8 months. They have 10 SPDs that they have developed on their team. They are present in 19 countries. And in 2 years, they have earned 4 of our top incentive trips at LifeWave. Please help me welcome to the stage Javi and Olga Solis from New Jersey. Have a seat. Our third and final couple for the afternoon has actually 20 years in MLM experience, 20 years. But in addition to that, as true entrepreneurs, they have had and launched of their own 6 non-direct selling businesses in agriculture over the last 15 years. It took them 18 months to go to SPD, and they have developed 4 SPDs in their direct downline. Please welcome to the stage Devin and Sarah Robinson from Florida, USA. Okay, let's get this party started. So, this is the Be the Light conference. Did anybody get that already? Does everybody know this is the Be the Light conference? Imagine that. And so what I'd like to do is really just kind of start out with a question. And I'm going to go ahead and start over with you, lovely lady. But really talk about, what is being the light to you? What does that mean to you, to be the light?
Okay, hi everyone, I'm Janet. Today I'm going to represent James, my husband. He lost his voice, so he just have to sit and look good. All right? Okay. To be the light is positivity for me, personally. So what it means for me and James is we want to be the warm light within the team, to be a good leader, so the team can feel it, and that's be the light for us.
Perfect. Yes. Perfect. All right. Next question for you. What excites you most about the next 20 years at LifeWave?
I love this question because I'm super excited for the next 20 years, for the next 2 decades. For me, the first thing that really hits home is innovation and growth. Because I see more groundbreaking products coming out. And then second, legacy and vision, because for me, this legacy that I'm building for my family and for the people that I love aligns completely with my vision. So
beautiful.
Yeah.
Nice. That sounds like a good answer. Hey, how are you doing, Avi?
How are you?
What's be the light mean to you?
Wow. Thinking about that question, the reason why this conference is so packed the way it is because somebody was your light. And you know what? Mike and Sai and Steve and Gina were ours. And we couldn't be much more grateful. And our job is to pay it forward. Be somebody's light so they can see the better version of them and get from where they are to where they want to be with this business.
Nice. Thank you. Very good. Hey, Sarah. How's it going?
Amazing.
Amazing. All right. Well, what's exciting you about the next 20 years?
Oh my goodness. So what I'm so excited about is I consider LifeWave and this opportunity an anomaly in the direct sales world. There is nothing like what we have in this patented life technology. But did you guys know by 2027, the wellness industry will be about $8.7 trillion. We are also an anomaly in the wellness industry. There is nothing like what we have. So what I'm really excited about, especially every single person in this room, is what David has created in this technology. We are going to make the most massive impact in this world. And that, for me, excites me, not just physically, but also financially. And it's so exciting. I feel like I'm at home.
Wow, very nice. Do you all feel like you're at home? Me too. Me too. So, Devin, along those lines, as we're kind of talking about what light means, and now you've just gotten to hear your gorgeous bride talking about, all of the potential here in the wellness industry. How important is it to setting goals as you're building your business? And you've built so many businesses. I think you're just the right person to ask.
Yeah, well, I think setting goals is the most important thing in anything in business. Whether it's your health, your finances, your family, everything starts with setting goals. And so I love Kevin and Emily Wilson. They really do an amazing training on this, on setting your daily goals, setting your weekly goals, and if you can win the day, you can win the month, and if you can win the month, you can win a year. But everything starts with setting goals, and really and truly, they provide focus. And I think for everybody in this room, focus is the number one thing that when you leave there. I remember me and Sarah just a couple years ago, we walked in here to the first LifeWave conference, and our lanyard said manager, Meredith, on the bottom. We came to the back of the convention, and we sat there, and me and Sarah both, when we left there that day, we left there with the end in mind. We both left there going, we're going to be SPDs in this company. And we set a goal to do the basic things, which is what? We picked up our phone, we started building a list. I love what Matt Curtis always says. People are in your phone for a reason. Those names are in your phone. You save them in there for a reason. So set a goal, pick up your phone, start making the phone calls, learn how to do some Zooms, right? Zooms were super uncomfortable in the beginning, and I had never done one until LifeWave. But I learned how to jump on the Zooms and have a meeting. I tell people all the time, goals allow you and help you to monitor your success in this, but these are the basic activities, and having a meeting is crucial. And then it improves your direction, because everybody can be motivated for an hour, we can be motivated for a day, but I think setting big goals in LifeWave allows you the ability, Meredith, to create discipline. And that's really what it takes to be disciplined in LifeWave, to get you and your team to the top.
Did you read my talk for tomorrow? Because I don't even think I need to give it now, Devin. But no, but so true. But did you hear what he said? You know, came in as a manager, sat in the back of the room, and said, "We're going to get to the front of the room." Look where they are now. Look where they are now. Use the magic word, discipline. Discipline, discipline. Because it is all about repetition, isn't it? It's repetition over and over. Great. Thank you so much, everybody. Great. Well, I'm going to come back down to you. And I'm so sorry that you did lose your voice, because I love the sound of your voice, James. But for today, we will, again, as your wife calls you, arm candy backstage. We'll just look at you and think, that is a handsome man. Okay, that's good enough. That's all right. But I want to go ahead and start out then with really the first question, for today. Because, as you think about the power couple and what you've done to build and what that really looks like, we know that there's leadership in direct selling. And we know that there's really a lot to be done. But I think that as I'm looking at these cards, that actually this next question is actually for Sarah and Devin. So she's going, poor Jan's going, oh my gosh, I didn't know I was going to have to answer that question. So I'm going to go ahead and stay down at that end and talk about, all right, you talk about the leadership, and you've been in traditional business. You've launched 6 of your own businesses in the last 15 years. So how important is it to be a leader in direct selling today for the potential? You two can take that one.
Well, I wrote down a few things on becoming a leader. It's so important in direct sales. That leadership is really the skill of influencing people, and influencing their thoughts or emotions, and encouraging them on a daily basis to win in this business. Leadership, it's not a position. My father taught me at a very young age when I started working for him that leadership was all action. That when I got to my father's company, I was young. I just got out of college. My dad had a lot of older management in that company. And he said, look, the only way you're going to earn respect in this company is through leading. The first guy, if something breaks, the first guy there fixing it, that's how you gain respect. So I've always learned at a young age to take action. And I've always learned that action cures fear. A lot of times in life, once you learn to take action in this, to pick up that phone, to do a meeting for somebody, you realize that this business is very basic. But that happens through leadership. And the first person today that you have to influence is yourself. That's the very first person when you leave here today. Leadership is influencing people, but influencing yourself to win. And look around this room. Look at how amazing the people are, the world of knowledge and wisdom that are in this room. When I walked into this convention, Meredith, this week, and I looked and I said, this company we are fixing to soar to $1 billion and beyond with the team that's in this room tonight. 100%. So thank you so much.
100%. No, thanks. Thank you to you. And did we talk about that earlier today? It's like, just look around the room at all of the light that is shining from the people that are sitting near you, and just soak it in and ask good questions. So what do you think, staying down there, that the common misconceptions about leadership? I mean, you kind of said are people born? I'm a born leader. Or, well, yeah, no, I'm not really a leader. I mean, what do you think the misconceptions are, Sarah?
So many people, when they join this, right, we have people who've been kind of in the workforce, people who have been bosses, people who have been owners of companies. We've owned many companies. And people tend to correlate leadership with being a boss, okay? How many people in here, raise your hand, want another boss, okay? Nobody wants a boss. But what do you want? You want a coach, right? And that's why I joined Steve Merritt, because he's a coach. He's helped his daughter become a world champion wakeboarder. This man's a coach. I knew I could lock arms and he could help me and give me the tools and support me and communicate. He's taken the road less traveled. He's done the highs and lows every day. Everybody wants a coach, okay? A boss is someone who's put in a place to manage other people. My job is to go out and inspire, right? To walk the walk, to go learn the highs and lows, to learn the answers, to get uncomfortable. And then there's another thing that people don't realize. People go, oh, they're a fearless leader. Can I tell you guys, in the last 18 months, I have had to change my deodorant like 15 times. Like, I am constantly uncomfortable every single day. A friend of mine and a leader in my business, Kendall Weldon, she is so bold, and she will go anywhere and just walk up to anyone and say, you need this patch. Just so bold. And I ask her, I go, Kendall, how do you do it? Like, what? She goes, Sarah, you do it scared, okay? You ever hear that term, scared money don't make money? Same with leadership. Scared leadership don't make leadership. You got to get uncomfortable. You want to know the breakthrough? Anybody in here want a breakthrough, right? You know where that breakthrough, where that magic is found? It's in that work that you're avoiding. okay? It's in that thing that makes you most uncomfortable. Get out there, if it's that Zoom, if it's pushing live, if it's getting up on stage, if it's calling that person who's really, really successful in your phone book and you think they're going to tell you no, they might be sitting at home right now praying for what you have, okay? So,
very good, thanks. And then finally, just really quick, so emerging leaders in your group, do you look for them? Are there a couple signs, success leaves clues? Real quick.
Leadership rises. Leadership rises. If you go out there, they're going to be on the edge of their seat and they're going to be looking for you. People are looking for what you have. So I'm definitely in my business. I'm available. I communicate. I take every single meeting that is an opportunity. So you need to just be involved in your business, have great communication. But if you're going out there and doing the things, people are they're going to chase you down for this opportunity.
Excellent. Okay. So back to the Solises. So Javi and Olga, what are key success factors that every rising leader, because everyone in this room is a rising leader, what is it that they need to know?
Well, as Sarah and Deborah said, you know, everything rises and falls on leadership. Your business is not going to outgrow your level of leadership, okay? You have to be intentional. Intentionality is everything. We go down and we identify leaders. They will identify themselves through behavior and through actions. We got to ask questions. Oftentimes, people do more of the talking than the listening. Yeah. We have to ask questions and then stop and just listen, fill a void, okay? LifeWave is on your lap for a reason. It's to fill your void of something that happened to you, whether it's 2 years ago, 3 years ago. You didn't have the resources or the time or even the income or the people that surround you to get you from where you are to where you want to be in your business. We're the light. And the more intentional you are and help people find the better version of themselves, the better it is for you.
So we've talked a lot about your plans. You know, Olga, I know that you're very strategic, you're very thoughtful, you're mindful, you're detail-oriented. How important is it for people to have a plan?
It's everything. If you don't have a plan, you don't have a business. So first and foremost, I think we just said the word before. I think it was Devin that said discipline, discipline, discipline. That is, if you don't have discipline, there is no business. And on top of that, you have to make a commitment. You have to make a commitment to that plan, okay? So.
Very good. And then how about, what are the risks if we don't, you know, you two, they have the most amazing story, and unfortunately we won't have time for them to tell it right now, but if you ever get a chance, go online and listen to their story. It is absolutely heart-wrenching and compelling and inspirational. But along those lines, you've invested a lot in yourselves to overcome challenges and whatnot. You know, what do we really have to gain if we don't look to ourselves first?
Listen, we're very big when it comes to leadership, okay? You build the person will build the business. It inspires us to see someone reach for their potential every time. Okay, people are looking to emerge in their lives. They just don't know where to do it. And investing in yourselves is crucially important. You can't give something you don't have. Okay, and to create leaders and find leaders is what this business is all about. And that's what digging down in your organization, digging down in the roots, that's where you're going to find. We call them blue M&Ms. Okay, how many blue M&Ms do you see in a pack of M&Ms? Maybe one, maybe two. Okay, the rest is yellow, green, brown. We look for the blue ones, or we look for the eagles. And if you're just getting pigeons, you're flying too low. You have to fly higher and get some eagles.
Did you hear that? If you're just getting pigeons, you're flying too low. Did you hear that? Please write that down. That was brilliant. I'm writing it down, but I don't have a pen. I'm writing it down in my mind. Very nice. Okay, and then so for you, I mean, you know, you guys have really attracted a lot of prospects because there's no way you and your teams have grown Singapore to be $1 million market. That's why you were selected for the first Success Center. So you're obviously good at attracting some high-level prospects. So what are your secrets?
Show them how I pay out. No, I'm just kidding. Okay, high-level prospects, I guess they are already in different network. You know, they are not new. And LifeWave is a very unique company, first with our products, and of course our compensation plan. Do you agree? Yeah. So I think that's one thing we can show them. And I have to say this, like I said, they would have gone to other company before, and I really love the corporate here. Not saying because Meredith is beside me, because she's our president, but she's so friendly. We can be just friends and not like fearful of her. Yeah. And I think the corporate is very important because they are the one who lead us, who create the products for us, who gave us a lot of benefits, right? As SPD, we enjoy this so much. Yeah. So I think to attract high-level prospect, we can tell them about our products, the future, the technology. David is always planning something new for us. That's why we come to convention, because every year we're going to hear something new, right?
Yeah.
And so we are so excited. And I think that's how we can attract them, because we are different. We are very unique. Our products is so unique.
No, and I think, you're saying something that's really timely for all of us in direct selling as we kind of look around at other direct selling companies. They come and go. I mean, we know that about 70% of all direct selling companies fail in their first 2 years of business. Either they're out of business or they're hemorrhaging cash. And that is the reality of it is a revolving door industry. That's why we have 20 years like we do. But people are always coming and going. And when we talk about being the light in direct selling and what that means, to have a 20-year young company that is just getting started, more than ever, we need to just be available. And so when you're bringing on these new people and they're coming on board, Jan, I mean, what is it that you are doing to make sure that they start strong and that they stay? Because we know that retention is a big key to success in our business.
Okay, for Singapore, what we do is, because we are very tiny, as you know, we are a very small country, one end to the other end, you take the train, it's like 45 minutes. So we have... you guys know that we do not have an office for the first 2.5 years. Yeah, so we do daily presentation. We call it BOP. So they come to the office every afternoon at 2:30. Our rest day is like a church. Sunday off, Monday off, and then Tuesday to Saturday we have presentation in office. So people just walk in, our team members. That's where they learn. That's where they can invite friends, because we are small, like I say. They can travel to the office, and we are so happy now. Thank you, Meredith, once again, and the corporate. We opened our first success center, right?
Yes.
Of LIFEWAVE in Singapore,
Congratulations.
yeah. And that's 1 month ago. And now James say, with that success center, no off day. We're going to have Monday to Saturday. Yeah. Okay, Saturday maybe not at the moment because the staff works 5 days a week. Yeah, that's how we create the momentum, and people have been coming. Last night we have a watch party. Okay, I'm a bit lost track with the time. While we are here, we had a watch party, and we are so happy because people come almost midnight. They sat through to listen to David this morning here. I heard there was about 80 of them. Yeah, we are really happy because they can't travel here, but they are there watching the same event as us. Yeah. So that's our onboarding.
That's your onboarding?
Physical.
Well, they're winning early. I mean, and that's kind of the follow-up question to that is there like 1 or 2 tips that you would give that you know that people are going to win and win soon so that they stick around?
Wow. Okay. Basically, I think, how do we ensure people win? We work with the team. We want them to succeed, because to be in MLM as a business, no one is here to have fun alone, right? They want to see the money. So we have training. We keep close contact with the team. We have individual team who has set up within our organization, and they run their own training program too, besides joining us as a big team.
Yes.
Yeah. So I think we help each other in that way.
Great.
Yes.
Nice. The power of the team. Does anybody doubt the power of the team? No, it is the most powerful thing. So down to you, so the biggest challenge that you've overcome. So back to Javi and Olga. What is it that you have, the biggest challenge that you've overcome that puts you in that seat right here, right now?
Every day I face a challenge. I've faced challenges for the last 2.5 years while in this business, and it's the hardest thing to do sometimes. As a mom to a child with significant challenges and special needs, I face challenges every day. In fact, I'll be honest with you quickly, I almost didn't make it here today. And I said, Javi, it's not going to work. Everything crumbled the week of convention. And I said, babe, I'm not going to be able to get here. This is just the way it is as a parent sometimes. And he looked at me and he says, is that what a leader does? He put me in check, and I said, you know what, babe? You're absolutely right. That is not what a leader does. So I am here. And I'd like to wish my beautiful boy, Alexander, who is the reason why we are here today. A very big, happy 11th birthday.
Oh, happy birthday!
A challenge of missing his birthday for the very first time was heartbreaking. But I know intuitively that my son, even though he cannot speak, he's telling me, Mommy, you've got to spread this to everyone that we know. I know it, I know it, I know it. So challenges are things we face every day. I'm facing one right now, right here with all of you. But I'm so glad that we're here.
Leaders show up. Leaders show up. Very good. Thank you. And thank you for that sacrifice. Thank you so much. Javi, all right. So conquering maybe a major setback. What did you put in play to actually be able to lead even when the times were tough?
You know, Meredith, in this business, we're going to get challenged. But you want to know something? We have to build that story. No one said that this business is going to be easy. And we always say to our team, you're capable of doing anything that you want to do, but are you willing to do the things people don't do in order to have the things people don't have? And, you know, when we were given that opportunity, and we didn't want to do this again, and we were afraid to do it again. And we said, listen, Olga, one more time. Let's just do this one more time. We're not a tree. Let's move, you know? And the urgency and the setbacks, these 2 years, we had setbacks. But those setbacks gave us the wisdom and the experience to move forward. However, those setbacks, those experiences and the wisdoms that we get, we're able to teach people what not to do, okay? To break their learning curve from a 6 months to a 3 months, help them rank events faster, help their confidence. You know, through our experience, we can teach them how to move forward quickly.
Nice. And I think you just answered the last question, Javi, about mindset.
Yeah, well, you know, I have a good analogy for mindset. The mindset is everything, okay? And we have this analogy that we live by is like we can go to a kiddie party. And in that kiddie party, what do they have? They have piñatas. Okay, in that piñata, okay, the bunch of kids line up to hit the piñata. So the first kid, the most popular kid, is going to hit the piñata. Okay, he hits the piñata once, the candy doesn't come out. Then the second kid, then the third kid, and then the last kid comes and hits the piñata. One time, boop, all the candy comes out, and they all start to celebrate. But here's the deal, when it comes to brand partners, some people stop hitting the piñata and wait for the candy to come. They stop hitting, they'll never celebrate and see the candy.
Wow.
We hit the piñata like David owed us something, okay? We hit the piñata so hard and so many times, and then one day, boop, the candy came out. But persistence, like you said.
Nice, beautiful. That's a good, big round of applause for that. Absolutely, absolutely. Thank you for that. That's a gift. That's a gift right there. All right, Sarah and Devin, how does being a power couple give you an advantage? I mean, obviously that's this panel. And all of you, hey, if you're single or if maybe your spouse of this person or life partner isn't all on board, that's okay. But we still need a support system. And that's what this is about.
Yeah, so being a power couple, I look at me and Sarah, and I think that it's LifeWave that gave me and Sarah the opportunity to be a power couple. Because, you know, for the last 12 years, we've been going in different directions. We have different careers. I left the house every single day, didn't get home till dark 30. And so we were kind of rowing the boat. We had the same goal, same children, but rowing the boat in different directions all day. And so we were looking at something like this that we could do together. Because our children are watching us every day. Our children watch us. I mean, we're both hardworking. We're both confident, super dedicated. And we complement each other's, we complement each other all the time. Like when I listen to my wife, we both have, different characteristics. She is amazing. When I listen to my wife, respond to people with customer service issues, and they call her all day, Sarah, what about this? Or Sarah, my order didn't go through. Or Sarah, can you help me set up my e-wallet? I'll listen to the conversation, and I get up and I go, oh my goodness, Sarah, you should work for LifeWave's customer service. You are so good. I mean, that is not my skill, So we divide and conquer, and I think that it's what LifeWave, Meredith, that really allowed us to be a power couple again, because really and truly, I know our biggest goal is number one, to be the greatest mother and daughters to our fathers, to give back to our mothers and fathers who sacrificed so much for us to be on these trips, to be an amazing husband and wife together, to grow in our love and our faith, always pushing and challenging each other, and then to be the greatest parents to our 2 children. And we learned a long time ago, right, that we weren't going to take our houses, our cars, our land, our farms, but it was our goal to take our children to heaven and give them the relationship with our Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ. And so that, to me, is what a power couple.
Amen. Sarah, most important life lesson.
I'm sorry, you had to do that? Okay, that's so good. Okay, so specific tool, book, podcast, I'm gonna be completely honest with you. I'm a high school dropout, okay? I'm sorry, I'll be honest, all right? When we talk about the light and the things, what I see with being a light is showing people that we all have the same light and we all have the same potential. Because if you get into this and you surround yourself with good leadership, which I found in Steve and Gina Merritt, and I was able to I came to them and I said, I'm stripping it all down. I don't know anything. I've never done this before, even though we've had history. And I said, tell me what I do. Just tell me what to do. And I continuously surround myself, talk to them on a daily basis. And what I've learned is they're always available. And they're teaching me how to be accountable to my team. They're teaching me how to present. They're teaching me how to prospect. They're teaching me all these things just through that relationship we have. So my suggestion to you, maybe if your upline is not the one, or your person who sponsored you might not be the one that maybe is building at your level, go higher up. All of you have a higher up working leader, and go connect with them. They're looking for you. Remember, leadership rises? They're looking for you. Surround yourself. Be obsessed. Obsessed. Get on every one of their calls, okay? And one tool that I have used that Kendall and Joe and Kyle have introduced me to that's really just helped with just sending videos and just making it more seamless to be able to send things, boards, okay? Not super inspiring or anything, but boards. It is an app that you can download on your phone. There's a video, and it's very easy to learn. It's a keyboard that goes right into your phone, so all the videos, it has been a huge game changer for sharing content with people. So that would be one tool.
Very good. All right, last and final question for you, Janet. If there was one thing you could tell this group right here to do when they leave this place on Sunday, what would it be?
Okay, obviously, share the products, share the business opportunity, but I would say attend the convention. Because you have to go home, tell your partners, please come next year. I tell you how impactful is this. I was supposed to attend the SPD retreat, but I couldn't make it, so I told our second daughter, Natalie, I said, can you please take over my place? She said, no, US is too far, I'm not going there. Yeah, I said, it's a free trip, please go, you know? And then she said, okay. And they are not in the business, of course, yeah? And after attending the retreat, she texted her sister and said this, I'm not doing MLM, but I want to be a scientist, like David.
Okay, all right then.
You know, but that was a joke for me because I felt that she really learned a lot. She was so impressed with David and the company, the overall retreat. And then one night someone told her, hey, you want to go out with us for a tour instead of sitting in? No, I'm not going. And she sat through every meeting. And this week when I meet her, she seems to know every leader here. Like they know her personally now. Yeah, so to me is, even for her, not in the business, yet she is so impressed. Imagine we bring our business partner. What would they think of LIFEWAVE? You know, and coming here to meet David for real. Yeah?
Very good.
Please.
It's a team sport.
Yeah. And yes, James, thanks for reminding me. We are so happy this year. Because last year, Singapore and Malaysia combined, I think we have like just 15 of us. Yeah, just 15 of
people?
us. Yeah, very few of us. And this year, imagine we could ask 80, about 80?
80.
80 of us.
15 to 80 in 1 year.
Yes, Singapore and Malaysia combined to come over. And you know how far we had to fly? More than 20 hours. This is really long. Yeah? So give them a clap. It's a lot of sacrifice. Both, they have to pay a lot financially, of course. And the time, the flight but it's all worth it. It's all worth it.
Mindset.
Yeah, it's mindset. Yes, last night was incredible, yeah?
Very
okay.
good. Very
Thank
good.
you.
Thanks to our power couples. Make sure you ask them follow-up questions. All
attend
of us.
the events.
Thank you, team. Thank you. You're awesome and
you,
amazing.
Meredith. Thank you
we
for having
appreciate you.
us.
Couldn't do it without them. Thanks, everyone.
that you heard there is that people want what you have. They want your product. And one thing that differentiates LifeWave from other companies is that somehow, even with the rapid growth, they've never run out of product. They've never run out of stock. How is that possible, you may be asking? Well, just watch. And the man behind all of this says that the second best decision he ever made in his life was to join LifeWave 15 years ago. Guess what the first one was? Marrying his wife. It is my pleasure to introduce Chief Operating Officer Coleman Dillon.
Oh, fantastic. Hello, LifeWave. Indulge me for a second. I'm going to rob David's piece. I want to do Tony Stark. It's good to be back. Thank you all. Thank you, Elwyn, for the lovely introduction. I did say that last year. It's true. You've just got me thinking now that she said it. We're celebrating our 20 years of LifeWave, an anniversary, which is incredible. Congratulations, everybody. Next March, my wife and I actually celebrate our 25th wedding anniversary. So we had the conversation about 2 weeks ago that, we're going to be 25 years married next March. To which she turned around and said, yeah, I guess we're stuck with each other. And then she said, with a smile, well, I'm okay with that. Interestingly, next April, I'll be celebrating my 15-year anniversary with David and LifeWave. So next April, maybe myself and David will have a moment. And I'll say, I think we might be stuck with each other. And I'm hoping he says, yeah, I'm okay with that. Anyway, it is really fantastic to be here. Interesting conversation with Nicole, which is what I'm going to play on. So you know that I've been with LifeWave 15 years. I'm going to be married 25 years to Siobhan. The other thing of interest with me, I think, is I'm big into team sports and I'm big into high-performance teams. So I really enjoyed Nicole. And I think one of the mistakes Elwyn, despite her lovely introduction, made is that I'm not responsible for everything that goes on within operations. We have a team. And I want to take this opportunity to say to my team all over the planet, thank you for everything you do. We have 4 pillars: trustworthy, knowledgeable, caring, and sense of fun. And that's what's important to me. So our team that is behind the scenes, and everything is about team. The team that have put this together, Josh Dunn, Meredith, David, congratulations and thank you for everything you've done. Our team in APAC for everything you've done. Obviously, LifeWave has been growing for the last couple of years. The amount of brand partners here this year is incredible. But we've also been growing our staff to be able to grow the business. So to everybody who's joined LifeWave as an employee in the last 12 months, and there have been hundreds, I say welcome and thank you for everything you do for LifeWave. So what I want to talk about today is obviously my role as the Chief Operations Officer. And I want to talk about the fact that we have a high-performing team. And the reason I know we have a high-performing team, and in my opinion, the best team we've ever had in LifeWave, is because in our division, when it comes to sport, we are the fastest growing business in direct selling. We are number one. We are growing faster than everybody else in our division because we have a high-performing team. And when I say team, I mean all of you with all of us together delivering this incredible growth. Of course, as the operations officer, I get asked a lot, and I want to put this to bed in this presentation. You know, with such rapid growth, can you keep up with production? In terms of the amount of patches we now have to manufacture, where are we with capacity? And I say, as somebody who likes high-performing teams, when you're number one and you're head of your division, that's the wrong question. The question isn't, can I keep up? The question is, how far ahead am I? So when you're in the first position, you're planning to stay ahead and you're planning to be here. I want to talk about that a little. The second thing I want to talk about is standards. I love Nicole in terms of standards within the Air Force. In our company, in our operations, we're all about standards. ISO 13485 is the standard for manufacturing medical devices. We're independently certified to that. We have our businesses now in Malaysia and the Philippines that have just gotten certified to ISO 9001. Thank you sincerely for that. It's an incredible achievement. Standards are important if you're to be a high-performing team. Do you know any sports team in the world that don't set their own standards? Well, we set our standards to the international recognized standard. And standards do 4 things for us. They ensure that the customer comes first. They ensure that we measure and we manage. They ensure that we always have the philosophy of continuous improvement. And they always ensure we hit our targets. That's what standards do. They're values. Every team has their values. I want to show a little bit later. It's interesting, a video talking about how we treat the environment. It's interesting this morning listening to David. So we talk about lobsters, we talk about water, we talk about light. These are all things that come from Mother Earth. We have to look after our planet so that we can continue to do sustainable business. And technology is the secret. In terms of capacity, if I move on, I'm just going to throw a few numbers at you. I know everybody here can read. The first number is that there's a little glimmer and a little conversation being had in whispers that maybe in 2025 we're going to do $1 billion in sales. Now, in these conversations within LifeWave, within operations, when my team asked me, are we going to do $1 billion in sales, Coleman? What are you going to say? I'm going to say, well, we can make enough product for $2 billion. Why don't you do $2 billion in sales? So the question is not keeping up. It's we're ahead. and we plan to stay ahead. So we can support a business right now that would do $2 billion in sales with the infrastructure, the equipment, the technology, and the people we have. So push the envelope. Accept the challenge. We plan ahead. We're always planning. The next stage of my plan is to do an infrastructure that will get us to support a $4 billion business. How am I going to do that? Well, you know, let me show you. Let me look at the new facility. Can we show them, please, on video? Thank you. We are investing in new facilities. We are investing in new technology. This is all with an aim to bring in the business in 2026 to be able to support $4 billion in sales. Why should you trust me, I hear? I'm trustworthy. How am I trustworthy? The best way to predict the future is look at the past. We've never been out of stock. You will never be out of stock. Trust me, push the envelope. In terms of, I need to push the button, I think. In terms of pushing the envelope, absolutely correct. Can't do this on my own, and I have an incredible team. Over the last 14 years, we've built a high-performing team in Ireland. I want you to look at the start dates. My team have started with me in 2010. They're still with me. It's loyalty, it's trust, it's vulnerability. Thank you. Brian was the first person I interviewed when I started production and started up the facility for LifeWave. And he sat down, we met, and I asked him work experience, and he said he spent the last 18 years working for a little company in Ireland. I don't know if you've ever heard of it, called Guinness. So Brian was in charge of logistics and supply for Guinness in Ireland. And I said, well, in your 18 years, Brian, with Guinness, what did you learn? He said, Coleman, Guinness was established in 1759. And he said, have they ever been out of stock? I said, well, no, there'd be a national crisis if Guinness went out of stock in Ireland. So I said, no. He said, well, that's what I do. I said, Brian, welcome to LifeWave. Anya is the person, VP of Operations, a number of years ago, to give you some idea of trust here. We were making probably around 500,000 patches a month. back in 2017, 2018. Last month, we made 30 million patches. Anya was the lady that drove and managed all that growth. So when I say, trust me, you'll always have stock. We have capacity. We have the people in place. In addition to Brian and Anya, I'm blessed. I have Tina in charge of our standards. We measure, we monitor everything in terms of the standards, the ISO 13485. Tina's responsible for. I'm blessed to have Niamh, who has recruited and managed the best workforce I've ever worked with. She's been with me since 2010. And Aidan manages now the biggest facility in LifeWave. And I want to say here publicly, because they like to stay behind the scenes, thank you to all of them for everything they've done for LifeWave. Here's the thing about our team, and I think it was President Truman said this once upon a time. It's amazing what teams can do when nobody cares who gets the credit. And what I mean by that was listening to the stories about the merits being coaches and coaching and passing it on. Don't care who gets the credit. And that's amazing what you can achieve in a team when nobody cares who gets the credit. And we've achieved some things, and I just wanted to prove the fact that we do work to extremely high standards. I did make a promise last year when I was here. Made two promises, actually. One is you'd never be out of stock, and you haven't been, and you won't be. The second one is we need to look after the environment. Can I show the video, please, about how we look after the environment? Environmental management is crucial for our organization's sustainable success. By implementing eco-friendly practices, we not only reduce our carbon footprint, but also enhance our corporate reputation and operational efficiency.
LifeWave are committed to becoming more sustainable and environmentally friendly. We've identified our sources of direct and indirect emissions by measurement of LifeWave's impacts and aspects in terms of energy use, waste generation and disposal, ethical sourcing, and also sustainable supply chain management by means of a Go Green aviation fuel agreement with our carriers.
ISO 14001 is a set of standards put forward by the International Organisation for Standardisation. Its purpose is to clarify the best practices for organisations that wish to reduce their environmental footprint by adopting an effective environmental management system.
Together, these are vital elements in defining LifeWave's roadmap to reduce our carbon footprint. At LifeWave, we have implemented a robust environmental management system to support these objectives.
Responsible resource management leads to cost savings and innovation, creating a healthier workplace and community. Embracing environmental stewardship attracts eco-conscious brand partners and customers, fostering long-term growth and long-term relationships.
For LifeWave, having an environmental management system in place will validate and prove that we have systems and processes in place. It will allow us to focus on making environmental improvements and also to demonstrate that we as a company are environmentally responsible.
Let's commit to sustainable practices, ensuring a greener future for generations to come. Together, we can make a significant impact and lead by example in our industry. Thank you. Not alone are we the fastest growing and #1 direct selling company in the world, we're also, and I don't say that we're going to be the best, but I can tell you there's nobody better at quality management systems and environmental management. And our commitment to you as brand partners, our commitment to the environment, and our commitment to work together to bring us to the next levels is full. We invest a lot of money in technology. We continually improve what we're doing, and we will continue to do so. So I'll stand here this year and I'll make the same promise I made last year. I can guarantee you'll always have product. If you want to quadruple sales, push the envelope. You want to go to a $4 billion company, I'm with you, and we'll get there together. In summary, I want you to be confident because of the technology and the people that we have. Be confident we have the capacity. Be confident we have the technology. We're a technology company. Be confident because we have a track record and we talk about trust. I have never been out of stock. I'll never intend to be out of stock. Just remember the pint of Guinness. We have the right people and we have sustainable processes. Finally, as the Chief Operations Officer in LifeWave, it's a humbling experience to be here. It's also a humbling experience for me to travel the globe and meet all our employees. So I want to leave you on my words that I always leave our friends and our employees. Love God, work hard, take care of one another. Thank you, LifeWave, and enjoy your weekend.